How many times we felt googly inside and it was a googly mess? That was not love.
That was not
right.
love,
So
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last Sunday I may have said, you know, some of us that with the relationships we're in, we're not in love, we're just out of options.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You did say that.
And because of that thing, we're trying to, as the young folks say, make it do what it
Make
do.
it do
Yeah, yeah.
That's the comfort.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
We
Just
fall
want to
back
be
to comfort
comfortable.
because we get
Yeah.
tired and grow weary. Oh,
That's the
God, you know,
exact
I
message you
keep
just
getting these
had.
men and getting this, running into this person, and now you feel like, oh man, let me just. Well, God, if this is not working and these people are coming to me and I'm praying for you, you must want me to go back where I came from. And God is like, no, that's not what it is. I want you to be patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be patient
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
first love yourself.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
if you loved yourself, you wouldn't
even
settle for
accept
anything less than my
period.
best.
Exactly.
That's
Anything
right.
less than my
Any
best.
ooh.
Anything. And you know what? That segue into the next point
right.
where it talks about interfaith relationships, because you just said we out of options.
Right.
And as a woman, single woman, listen, ain't got no in the church. Like, where the men at in the church?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then now you're seeking elsewhere because we out of options, Pastor. What's going on? We're we out of options. So now what do? You know what I mean? Because our desire is to be married. Our desire is to have a powerful man of God. And now we sitting in a service where the majority of us is women. And then the men are the pastor, and the pastors, help from a bearer, and they're all married. You know what I mean? So what about interfaith relationships? I mean, I know what my Bible tells me, about being unequally yoked, but then I'm a pastor. I'm a pastor. I'm a woman of God. Now, am I supposed to go and get me a pastor or apostle, or do I kind of not lower my standards?
Oh, sounds like
No.
I'm
I'm trying to be on the fence here. Or do I, go seek out a nice guy, who is Christian minded, but not fully, and like help him transform, because this is what a lot of women doing. You know what I'm saying? To talk to me.
So I'll say this. Number one, it pains me of the disparity there is in the church,
Right.
particularly the black church. But I'll say, when you look at religion, the man's place, the man's role is the same in every religion. So the man is the dominant one. He's the head of the home. He's the standard bearer. So the Bible talks about being unequally yoked.
Yes.
So now, if you have the man in the relationship who serves in his role, it's a very dangerous thing for a Christian woman to submit to someone who hasn't submitted to God.
My God.
Yeah.
Because he has to be out of character to let you win, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd much rather you all find that brother on the street with his pants hanging in Tim's who believes in the God that his grandma prayed about, because at least he has the introduction, he has that foundation.
Right.
But if that foundation is not there and they're going with some other worldview and they're leaning toward this, I would just say it's a bad move. And the Bible, again, 2,000 years ago, it talks about being unequally yoked. And you all know from your own experience how these relationships turned out when you were unequally yoked.
Oh, yes.
And we're talking about people that believe in the God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So think about someone else coming in who believes totally different from what you believe. I just think it's too much of a challenge.
It's a dangerous zone when you are a woman of God and you intertwine with someone who is not a believer. Because when you want to pray, they don't want to pray.
Right.
When you want to talk about the word, they don't want to talk about the word. So what ends up happening is when you want to talk about the things of God, they don't want to have anything
Come on.
To do
with
Come on.
what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So then you end up lowering your standards.
Come on,
and you
yeah.
end up lowering everything that spiritually that you have built up. And you start to talk about things that
Of the world.
are not as of God.
Yeah.
Right? Not saying that you're perfect, because we're going to have days, and the flesh, we know that it will fail you. Right? So I'm not saying we're perfect. Right? But what I am saying is you enter these conversations, and we're all guilty of it, right? We enter these conversations and you feel comfortable and you feel content,
Yeah.
because that's where that person is. and then he's not spiritually at your level to pull you back up.
Yeah.
So then you get complacent
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So that's why it's dangerous territory to be with someone who is not on your level spiritually. So it doesn't even make any sense because guess what? It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, and I've seen firsthand where a young woman be in church, getting inspired, and has an affinity for the pastor because of his role in the church, because of his character, because of how he carries himself, and she has someone who may even be on the border, but not coming to church. So now they have to contend with this person coming home being so inspired, being just
Yeah.
and now she's talking about the church, and she almost has to dumb herself
Yeah.
down so it doesn't mess with his manhood. And then some of them are even bold enough to say, man, I wish you were like Pastor. And now that starts.
That's
A whole nother thing. That's
I've
a
seen it.
whole problem.
Yeah.
I've seen it because now she starts to somewhat, I don't want to say idolize, but she really starts to look up to the pastor, and now this brother is resenting it because, oh, you missed this. So now he's looking for flaws and punching holes and all this stuff. So it's just, it's really a dangerous thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I understand the climate that we're in, and
Yeah.
I know y'all sisters are tired, man. It's just, JB and I, we talk about it all the time. We'll just be like, man, what's wrong with these knuckleheads? All of these powerful women who are just doing their thing, you know, and you guys are playing around. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to.
I don't know either, but I will say, if I could take a step back to Pastor Keisha, when you said that, am I supposed to lower my standards? God will never, ever call me to lower my standards.
Absolutely
He will
not.
never. So I definitely want to address that first.
Yeah.
But I also say that I think if we get it wrong in the vetting process,
Yeah.
well, because we see something that looks good to our eye,
Can you say that
if
again?
we get it wrong in the vetting
Sam?
process,
We get it wrong in the vetting process.
and then we start, and this, I want to say this the way I mean it,
Yeah.
and then we start to fall in love with arm candy and not soul food,
Soul
and not
food.
soul food, and not soul food. So we fall in love with those things that look good,
Yeah.
and now we upset with God because you say, God, you keep bringing all these men to me, and they're not my type.
Yeah.
They don't fit the mold. They don't fit this list that I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, it's true.
Because we want this 6'1".
It's true.
God, and you know the percentage of men in the world that are 6'1" is super low. 6'1" or higher is super low.
Yeah, that brother might be 5'7".
Oh, that's
We look at
unacceptable.
these things. It's like God, you know, I don't like this. You know what I want. You know what I pray for.
Right.
And the whole time God wants us to lose that list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want something that you want, or do you want something that I want that's going to be good
Exactly.
for you?